Hey guys, it's Nutcase, and today's video we're taking a look at what I drew for the month of Inktober. Just to get it out of the way, I'll tell you guys what I used for most of the month of Inktober. You'll see most of the pens and stuff here, but I'll let you know. I used a Denik sketchbook along with a Pentel pocket brush pen, which is the orange pen you see there, several different Micron pens, but then I also used some zebra brush pens throughout as well. And the new pen that I tried this year was the Pentel Finito Xtra fine porous point pen. And you won't see it pop up in images until later on in the video, but this was definitely the new art supply that I found that I really enjoyed, and I just picked it up randomly because I was picking up a ink cartridge refill for my Pentel pocket brush pen from Michael's one day, and they had this, buy that, and I was like, oh, let's try this. Pentel has fine liners now, and honestly I love it for just making like how Micron fine liners work, but also they're really good for sketching because if you use a light touch with it, you get like a scratchy, sketchy like line versus just a solid line. And because I guess it's the porous tip, if you press harder you get a more solid line and, you know, a thicker line. So that was definitely the all-star of the Inktober supplies in my opinion. So to let you guys know what I use besides that, I also used some Motika markers like here. I did use Copics as well. It just depended on what I needed. But for the speed paints that you've been seeing here, I used Procreate. So what I would do is I would take a picture of the ink drawing along with the ink supplies there that you see on the side, and I would edit it on my phone. And it is in the app Snapseed that I would edit it. And so I'd make it a square, obviously, because I'm posting it on Instagram. And then I would import it onto my iPad and pop it over into Procreate and then color it. And I want to say that later on in the month I started editing the photo on the computer first as well to try and make the lines more crisp and not so wonky. You'll see that like I'll be putting like a whitewash over some of them whenever I first start, like I'm first doing this, but I then change how I do that and just fix them before starting to color them on the iPad on my computer. Also, throughout the month, I've progressed from doing like this or simple coloring like the one before, where it's just like, you know, this one it's just shades of green, the other one was very simple beach scene, but I progressed to doing full color or at least flat color images throughout the whole month, which I'm very happy with, but I think I'm not going to do that next year. I'll probably just stick to doing black and white. I want to work more on the actual value of the inks and stuff. Maybe do just a black and white with like gray markers like set next year. But I am happy with how all of these turned out. I know that not a lot of people, like I didn't get a lot of interaction online with these just because like they aren't characters you guys know, they aren't characters that you guys really want to care about, because they're from a game that like nobody besides myself, my husband, and several people that we know have played and like know these characters at all. So yeah. But if you are curious for some reason to see like what this was or what this one was, I will have the list of the prompts down below with the character names and little blurbs about them just so you guys can, you know, find out a little bit about them. Because some of them are NPCs, but some of them are also player characters. Like this character here was an old character of mine that I technically retired but is now an NPC, things like that. So I know, like I said, not a lot of people care about these characters, that's why I didn't get a lot of traction and stuff online. But besides that, I do feel like I don't know that I've improved anything this year, but I immensely enjoyed it. because I love the process of doing traditional inks and then digitally coloring them. I don't know what it is. I used to do it a lot more back in the day and I miss it, so maybe that's why I enjoyed it this year. And even like simple drawings like this, it was a lot of fun just to work on each day, and it kept me motivated to do the, you know, work that made these like finished pieces. And like I'm glad that I started doing that instead of just doing like the splash of color and then that was it, because like this character I don't think would have looked as striking if it was just the splash of color. This is also another one of my characters, so maybe that was why I wanted to do her in color so bad. But yeah, I hope you guys at least are enjoying seeing the process of the colors. I know I didn't record any of the ink drawings this year. I usually record some of those, but honestly this month has just been so hectic for me. At first I was prepping for DreamHack and my convention in December, MFF, but then as of Tuesday this week, because I'm recording this on the last day of Inktober, so you guys can have it out Friday, Tuesday of this week, I got an email from a local convention called Anime Week in Atlanta and was offered a table. And I do a thing where when I'm going to be tabling at a convention where I stress pack weeks and weeks ahead of time, just so I know that I have everything in order. And so I technically have everything in order, and so when they contacted me I was like, yeah, I can do that. And so now I'm just rushing and panicking because I'm doing a convention at the end of the week, and you know, tomorrow, whenever I'm recording this, tomorrow I'll be at a convention, and it's just kind of stressful. But yeah, if you guys are going to be at AWA, come find me. I don't know my table yet because I just got, like, again, an email on Tuesday. But if you check my Twitter and stuff, I'll have all of that posted once I know where I am, and I'll share my table location and like what it looks like there and whatnot, so you guys can spot me if you're going to be there. I haven't tabled at AWA in years now. I want to say at least six years or so. I had a bad experience with one of the previous art room people, but they're no longer there, so there you go. This is where I think I started using the Finito, and I loved the lines. Like, I used the brush pen for the border, but like everything else on the inside was done with the Finito, and I just loved it. Like, it's such a good pen. I cannot recommend it enough. It's just so nice. It gives you like very good solid lines, and yeah. You could also get like sketchy lines with it, which is crazy to me because I can't with fine liners. They just don't look good whenever you don't use them in the right way, I guess. But yeah. Some of these character drawings were a lot more fun for me to do just as a player of the game because, like, my husband doesn't have visual references for some of these characters. Like this character, whose name is Grandmother Bright, has never had a visualization. So he didn't even really have a description. It was just like, do like this. This one is also interesting because this is for a character I have not played yet and is only a concept. But my husband liked it so much that he added it to the list because he wanted me to draw her and like flesh her out for this as well, which, yeah, I think she turned out pretty cool. She's a doll mage, so yeah. This is also one that took a long time, and I'm still not super happy with it. I have trouble specifically with drawing wolves, and I don't know what it is. Like, I even used a photograph of a wolf to draw this wolf, and I'm not happy with it. You would think with how many animal characters I draw, I'd be better at it, but yeah. I can draw them from the side, just not face on, because they just don't look right with their eyes close together, but this one was supposed to look more human in the face for some reason. Like, I tried to do that by bringing the eyes a little closer together, but I don't think that worked out. Besides that, everything in this picture I really like, because I loved the texture of the fur that I did and everything on them, and then the elf character looks great. I loved the stray hairs I added to her after coloring, and then like even the simple background. But also you'll see here that I add fog, which lends to like the mysterious look of this picture, and I really like this. Oh yeah, and then I did some of the highlights. So that's something that I've been messing with in my art lately, is like this, I'll select tool area and then use either the gradient or the airbrush to do highlights, and it just makes everything look way softer, and I love it. Like, I love the effect that it gives, and I definitely want to start using it more. So that's another thing I've learned this Inktober that I like. But yeah, this Inktober, like I said, maybe not the most like learned for inks, because I just did what I normally do for whenever I ink drawings anyways, but I still really enjoyed it. And yeah, this was one that I had fun with, and it was very fast, but this is a running joke because in the game they produce meat in cubes because it's the future. But yeah, and so I don't think they even look like actual chickens, but they're called cube chickens. So yeah, this was an interesting one to work on because I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I couldn't get the colors to match what I wanted, but I got pretty close. I wasn't as happy with it as I could be. This one is an interesting one too, because the prompt was the guy on the right whose name is Ether, but he helps out they're called cat slaves in game, and so I included my own character Mac, and he is giving her a cheeseburger. So, but yeah. Now the last two drawings that I'm going to be showing here are, again, the last 2 days. They were done with Motika markers, the colored ones here, and a little bit of the gray ones, and then gray ones for the last one, which I'm not super happy with. This is probably my least favorite picture of Inktober, and it's the last day one, but I'm stressed. So it makes sense. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed having a look at what I did for Inktober and seeing how the coloring process was done. But yeah, if you guys would... I don't know what to say here. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!